First week, good week. Second week, bad week. Met a cowboy and we met a subscriber. See how it went. Hi everyone, it's Dave here from Anvil, and at the moment it's night time and we're in the van, and we're going to actually do a little bit of tramping for a change, which is rare for me. But it's actually Wednesday today, the 16th, and it's night time. And I'll tell you how we got to this point in the week so far. So we started off on Monday, we worked Monday, and we had a good Monday. I did work for my regular customers, and it pretty much kept me busy all day. I collected from the Blackburn area and went down to Leicestershire area. Did a delivery there. It's one of the jobs that we get well paid for. And from there, we collected from, what postcode was it? I'll check it for you now. B78, and took something up to B98. And then popped up to Stoke-on-Trent to Motorcycle Place. Collected some parts there, big pallet of parts that were going to Trafford Park, but they were ultimately going abroad. So it was going to the an air freight place in Trafford Park. So it was a good day's money, and got home a reasonable time, probably home for 5 o'clock. Tuesday, my own customers were not overly busy, I don't think, but I'd already taken some ADR work and hazardous work. So I did that work in the morning, which was a real good paying morning's work. And then in the afternoon, I took a job, had a bit of a break, went and see my mum, because it was near where I dropped off the last ADR job, was near my mum's. Had my lunch at my mum's, and then did a job, not ADR, on the Courier Exchange, going up to Lancaster, which is a long wheelbase job, and a bid fairly substantial for it because it's Lancaster and it's not any work in there. Got that job and did that. So that meant Tuesday was a good paying day as well. Which brings us to today. Now today, again, I'd already taken a local ADR job. I'd already booked that in, which is like a minimum price job. And my minimum price, I've said it before, is £100. And I did that quite early in the morning and had it dropped off and cleared for like 9:30, and thought, right, well, that's a great start to the day. I'll go on the CX and fill me boots. Oh no, I had no luck. I bid and bid and bid and could not win a job. Other people I know were struggling too, so I think that today was just a bad day on the CX. Another YouTuber said that his wife had checked on the CX, and at one point nationally, from like motorbikes up to like 18 ton, there was something like 50 odd jobs active. It was really quiet. So I was struggling to get a job, and then I got a job. I bid for 2 hazardous loads, one of which I did last week, which was basically going from the near Hull over to Barrow-in-Furness, and it was the same shipper. So I bid for that job again at the same price they did it. And then I bid for another one that I do quite regular for quite a big shipper, which is literally picking up and going to the same industrial estate at minimum price. So I bid for both. The one for Hull I bid for quite earlier. It wasn't going ahead, and I noticed several other shippers advertised the same job, so whoever wanted that job done was obviously hawking it around a bit. Nothing was happening on that, and then I got a call from that shipper for that local job, which was going to be at 1 o'clock. So I took the job thinking, well, it's another minimum price job. 2 of the minimum price £100 jobs is getting well towards my target then. And I finished the phone call, and then the original shipper for that big paying job to Barrow, they rang and said, can you go ahead? But I just took the other job, so I had to apologise and say, look, I've just took another job. I was just about to cancel yours. It had been a while, and they said, yeah, sorry, it's been ages before the customer got back to us. So I couldn't do that job. I was a bit gutted because that was really well paid. Set off to do the other one, just about to set off, and they rang and said, oh, they put it back, it's going to be tomorrow morning. Can you do it then? So I was gutted then, but I said, yeah, okay, I'll do it tomorrow morning. So I'll try and find something else on the CX. No luck still. I was getting a bit brassed off, thought, well, I'll probably go home. And then I got a phone call for this job I'm doing now. Now, this is not off the CX, this is off someone I know. And basically what it involves was picking up audio-visual equipment from a specialist audio-visual supply company and taking it to central London, to near the Barbican, in fact. And it was got to be delivered for 8 AM in the morning. So I went and picked the stuff up. But it's expensive gear, this, and I was a bit dubious about it being on the van. So I had a decision to make. Do I go home and then leave really early in the morning and deliver it? Now, this job is really well paid because it's wait and return. So when they finish with the gear, I'm going to take it back. But that probably won't be till about 6 o'clock in the evening. So a price was agreed, covering some waiting time, the job there and the job back, both at full price. So it added up to a really, really good price, like half my week's target, which more than makes up for the debacle today, and basically puts me more or less on target for the week. But I was a bit conscious of the value of the gear on the van and thought, I don't fancy staying in a hotel and then leaving it in a car park overnight. I don't really fancy, even though I live in a cul-de-sac and it's quiet, leaving it in the van overnight at the house and then getting up early and taking it down in the morning. Plus, I would prefer to be close to the place because it's central London. And I know it can take about 5 hours to cover a mile. So I thought I'd sooner be near and then go in early morning. So what I've elected to do and what I've done is I've driven down and I've come to the last services on the M1. I think it's called London Gateway. And I've paid to park overnight here because I'm going to sleep in the van. I've set up like a little mattress on the bed, on the seats that go across, because I can't get the back because it's full. I've got a sleeping bag, a proper pillow. I had a shower before I left to come here at home. But if I want, I can have a shower in the morning as well here. I've had something to eat. And I'm just going to nip back into the place now, brush my teeth and use a loo. And then I'm going to settle down for bed. Get some sleep, get up early in the morning, fill the van up here because I can use this filling station here. And I'm going to get in about an hour earlier than I should deliver there because I'm useless in London. This is central London, congestion charge area near the Barbican. So I'm going to get in and scope the area out early. Maybe I can get in early anyway. It's actually at a museum. Museum of London, I think it's called. And it's for some kind of event that's taking place there. And then I believe I can actually leave my van there because I've had instructions by email, and on one of the things it actually says room for one X van, which is the name of the company I'm working for, on site. So I might be able to leave the van there and then just do a bit of touristy stuff around London, have a wander around. Or the alternative is I take the van away and maybe I can pick up some work, but I'm not too sure about central London. I'm about to travel just outside, maybe do a couple of little jobs on the CX or one, and then come back in time to pick it up. But I was told that there's a possibility they might finish early and I can get the stuff earlier to take back, and I'm going to deliver it back at night from where I picked it up because they've got a night shift on. So it's a good, well-paid job. It's not the kind of job I'd really like to do, but it makes up for the rubbish today, and it more or less puts me on target for the week. So from that perspective, it's going to be worthwhile. I'm not a big fan of sleeping in vans, but in this particular instance, I did say I was going to try and adapt a bit, and this is adapting. Now, I've got no night heater, but it is bloody warm tonight. It's actually 14 degrees. So it's not all that cold, actually. I reckon I could sleep on top of the sleeping bag. It's actually warm. So I'll get a few hours sleep, and that's it. So on the way down, by the way, I had someone who watches the channel telephone me out of the blue about the potential of covering a job for them, which was nice. And it was really nice to speak to you. Gordon, I think your name was. And he was a really nice fella from north of the border. So big hello to you, and thanks for getting in touch. And it helped to pass the time on that boring journey down. As it happens, I knew someone else who would be in a better position to do that particular job for him. So I'm hoping that between the two of you, you've sorted something out. But still, nice to have spoken to you, and it's nice to speak to people who watch the channel. So thank you for watching it. And remember, when you're watching this one, give us a thumbs up this time. You said you're a subscriber, but you never like it. Well, give us a like, because it helps to get it out. Anyway, so that's it for this particular segment. I'll let you know how the end of the week goes, and of course then we'll be going into next week. It's Friday now, Friday afternoon, 16:40 p.m. to be precise. We are heading home. So we did that job, it was well paid, all that, but my God, that there London. Oof. I stayed overnight in the van, as was the plan. It was hideous. I tell you, there's not enough room in the front, so I've come to that conclusion. Although I stretch the mattress thing across, you can't lie perfectly flat and have your legs straight. And so what was happening was, I got to the services, did some paperwork, chilled out, blah, blah, blah. I'd had a shower before I left, and went for a bit of a walk around the big car park, just to chill out, get a bit of exercise in my lungs and legs. Watched a bit of Netflix, and I put blinds round so no one could see in the cab. Set the bed up, and got to sleep. I felt quite tired. Nodded off. Woke up an hour later, and my leg was cramping because they were sort of like kinks. So then I'm like trying to stretch them out, and it was so frustrating. Did not sleep very well at all. Ended up completely rearranging everything, going back watching more Netflix, and ultimately ended up kind of half sat up against the window with my pillow up against the window, so a bit like I was in a deck chair or something. I did get some sleep, but it wasn't enough. Then I drove into central London to where I was delivering to, which was right next to the Barbican Theatre, so it was really central, and it was just busy. Even early in the morning, it was busy, busy, busy. Quite easy to get, M1, A1, but then once you start getting in those red areas, 20 mile an hour, horrendous. Bikes coming at you from all, they're like suicide jockeys. Red lights mean nothing to those muppets. But I found the place, got delivered, and then I had to leave the stuff with them, and then I had to go back 7:30. So that left me now. This is like 8:30 in the morning. I've got to, what we're going to do. So what I did was, because I'd bought a ticket for that London Gateway services, I decided I'm going to drive back up there, park there for a bit, because the ticket's valid for 24 hours. So that's what I did. I drove to London Gateway, parked up there. I thought, I feel a bit tired. I'll have a bit of a nap. A bit of a nap turned into 3 hours. And when I came round, there was nothing, it wasn't really busy on the CX. I didn't fancy any of the work that was on. I'm not overly familiar with the area of sort of northern London. And I just thought, you know what? I was being paid to wait and come back anyway. I'll just stay here. So that's what I did. I had a lazy afternoon, chilling out, watching the world go by, reading and watching Netflix. And I'm not a big person for TV dramas, but I've got into something on Netflix that's called Gangs of London. Oh, it's vicious. It's visceral. And if you don't mind a bit of violence and a bit of effing and jeffing and it's very violent. It is a good series. I've got quite addicted to it, so I'm going to have to watch myself. I'll probably end up binge watching the rest of it. So, and then I went back into central London to pick the goods up at 7:30. And one thing I did notice, as I was driving through central London, every single pub was packed. Outside, all the pavements were full. Everywhere, every single pub. As you've gone through Highbury, everywhere. There wasn't a pub that wasn't packed, and had loads of people out on the pavement as well. So I don't know what was going on. It was pleasantly warm for the time of year, or are they just all alkies? Because it ain't like that in Manchester, even the centre. But every single one, there was just crowd. I thought, what's going on? Is it free beer Thursday? Got me stuff, and it was a long drive home because there was the M6 had closed. In the end, Google Maps decided to take me up the M11 and up the A1, and I didn't get home until just before 1 a.m. So it's a good job I've been sleeping in the day. I was knackered, and I didn't plan to work today. All I planned to do was to take the gear back, because I didn't want to take it back that night. I was too tired, and I knew I'd got to unload it all. So I arranged with them, I'll take it back in the morning. There was no pressure. I didn't set an alarm. I just got up when I woke up, drove down, dropped the gear off at the highest supply place, and I wasn't going to work. So I just ran a few errands, picked up a relative who needed a lift. And then the company I do a lot of work for rang me and asked if I could help them out, a bit short-handed. And one of their customers had a bit of a rush on. So I ended up doing 3 drops for them in Rotherham, Chesterfield and at Mansfield, which I've done, and now I'm driving back. I wasn't planning to work. The extra money will come in handy. For the week, this week, week 1, we are over target. We have gone over target now. Not by a lot, but over target. So, but it was the big job in the middle of the week that brought everything up to scratch and took me over target. It was a bit of an adventure, but and not one I want to repeat again in a great hurry. But, this is what you do. This is what we do to earn a living sometimes. So I'll see you next week, but it'll be the same video. So for you, I'll see you in a second. It's the 22nd of October. It's a Tuesday. At the moment, it is about 2:15 in the afternoon. And this week, so the second week of this video, it's not going very well. So last week we did over target and it was all right. It was a bit hard work and it was a bit of a weird week, and I was rescued by a big job in the middle of the week. This week has started off pretty crap, really. So yesterday, the company that I do a lot of work for, they're really quiet. They are really quiet themselves. So there wasn't any work for me. And I bid yesterday morning for some work, didn't have any luck. And in the end, I got a job that was going to Cramlington, so it's north of Newcastle. And I got it for a reasonable price. It was probably bid number 40. But it meant I didn't get to up there until about 3 in the afternoon. And of course, there was no work. I mean, Newcastle was like a black hole. There was literally nothing coming out. 2 jobs came out in all the time I was up there, none of which was suitable for me. And fortunately, I'd got a decent rate for it, but I ended up driving home. So yesterday, I've got to count that down as a loss, really. Today, again, no work from me own regular people. And I bid and bid and bid and bid and bid. And I bid so much I gave up and I went home. And come out again, and I got a job going from Hayward, just down the road from me, up to where I am now, which is Ossett, West Yorkshire. And I've been here now an hour, and I've not had a sniff. Now, I have had a couple of sniffs at ADR jobs, hazardous loads, but I didn't get any of them. So I bid for one this morning. I got a phone call back from the shipper to say, we're going to put it to our customer and we'll give you a ring back. No, never heard anything, and it just disappeared off the system. And whilst I was up here, there was a job going from Grimsby, which is just over an hour away from where I am now, and it was going to go up to Livingston, and I bid on that one, and it was for delivery in the morning, so that would have meant picking it up this afternoon, drive up to Livingston probably this evening, I'd stay over and deliver first thing in the morning. And again, I got a phone call about that, and again put it to the customer kind of phone call, and again customers obviously said no, too expensive or whatever. Didn't get that, so all I've done today is a minimum charge job, well, just over minimum, up to Ossett, and I've not got anything else, and it's ticking on. It's 2:15, so I'm just going to look for a job to get towards home, and then we're going to try again tomorrow. But it has been tough, really tough this week, and I think considering it's October and generally speaking you would expect it to be picking up, it hasn't. If anything, it seems to have gone quieter. I've had the notice through about my renewal for my Courier Exchange, which is due in December, and that's gone up. So I think with the VAT, it's going to be £1,700 and something pounds. So they want more money, yet it seems as though you're getting less work on the platform. So I'm going to have a real big think about that. And it's funny because on Facebook, there's lots of different Facebook pages for people who work in the courier industry, and there is one in particular that I do read quite a bit. And someone posted basically a goodbye. So basically saying he's been a courier for 14 or 15 years and he's never known it go as bad as this. His renewal has come through for the Courier Exchange. He's not going to renew it. And when his van insurance expires in January, he'll be packing it in because he's just noticed a general downturn in the industry and he's finding it harder and harder to make ends meet. And he's packing it in, which is a shame. But then obviously you get the comments that come with when someone posts something like that. And there were so many people saying the same thing. Now, obviously, this chap was talking about the Courier Exchange, and some people were talking about the Courier Exchange and saying how it's gone up in price and they're not going to renew because it's too expensive. But I think what it indicates in general, if you step aside from the Courier Exchange, is that the industry itself is really on a slowdown, and the whole country's economy is on a slowdown, and it's getting harder and harder to find work at a decent price, and even find work, because if you're working on the Courier Exchange at the moment, you know, that chap was talking about how he'd been out for 8 hours and didn't get a job, bidding, and at 80 pence a mile. I think he's in a small van, and it's sad, isn't it, really? Now, I've been lucky, and I've been kind of, you know, in a bubble where I've been getting regular work off someone else, but them people are quiet. They're really quiet, and they've also lost some work, which means they're even quieter than usual. So either, and their customers obviously are cutting corners and cutting costs and trying to save money on transport wherever they can. So all this kind of thing is passing on. So ultimately, it's getting tougher out there. Now, you can try and I'm going to try and stick it out. I mean, I've had bad days before, so you don't let one day put you off. This is day number 2 of not a very good day by my standards. So hopefully tomorrow it'll pick up and we'll have a better day. But I've got to admit, I'm finding it a little bit tough at the moment. Luckily for me, I've got some reserves there. And you know what? Tomorrow might be another day, and all of a sudden you're doing 500-600 quid and you think, what are you worrying about? But last week it was a big job that rescued me, when in reality what you really want is a consistent supply of steady work. You don't want to have to rely on a miracle job pulling you out of it in the week. So far this week, not so good. I'm all healthy and I'm all well again, but we're struggling to get a bit of graft. So we'll have a think about what we're doing, but I really do think I might have to consider, you know, a bit more of this tramping lark. I don't fancy it, I've got to say. I do not fancy it. But, you know, for my sausage, I've got nothing better to do looking for camp beds and things like that, because I've come to the conclusion that you can't sleep in the front of this camp. So I think you'd have to sleep in the back. And I want a better bed than that crappy air bed that I had. So I've seen some kind of camp beds with a mattress that goes on top. It folds down really thin. I've checked, it takes my weight. And I think I might go for that, because I can put the mattress up behind here that goes on top of it. And the camp bed folds so thin that you can tuck it either on top of your wheel arch or next to your wheel arch, so it doesn't intrude with pallets that go through the van. And then it's just sorting out heating, either a night heater, or alternatively maybe get one of them power bank things, them big power banks you can buy. I've seen them in Costco. And plugging in a sort of like blow heater in that you just put on before you get in the bed, and obviously turn on before you get out of it. It just warms the interior of the van. So we'll have a think about that. But probably the night heater is probably going to be the one, the diesel night heater. But it's looking as though it might have to go that way, just for, you know, just simply to make sure that we're not wasting too many miles chasing work. Anyway, I'll let you know how the rest of the week goes at the end of the video. But at the moment, not the best of starts. I mean, it's happened before, and it'll happen again. But it does seem to be, for this time of year, quieter than I expect it to be. Thursday now, 24th of October, and it is lunchtime, about 12:15. I've just done a delivery to York, and I'm pulling a lay-by to have a bit of lunch, and just going to have a look on the CX now, so we can find anything, unless the people who use me quite a bit ring me to cover anything. But once again, a bit quiet on their part. So, as you know, Tuesday, not very good. Monday wasn't brilliant. Yesterday was all right, though. Yesterday wasn't too bad a day. I picked up a job on the CX that had pre-booked in, and that was for an extra long wheelbase van, and it was going down to like Toaster-ish area, Northampton-ish, that kind of area. Got a good price for it, and the bonus was it was only 2 miles from where I lived. So I picked that up in the morning and got it all delivered. I parked in a sort of like Tesco that wasn't far away, ate my lunch, and I was looking for work, going anywhere really. I wasn't overly fussed, and I saw a job, a hazardous load job, going from Toaster, so it was near where I was, and it was going down to I don't even know the name of the area, because once I've left the comfort of the Republic of Mancunia, the names of places are beyond me. But it was GU20, so it was only just, you passed a sign that kind of said welcome to Surrey, and then it was like 100 yards, and it was to a sports car manufacturer, and it was ADR, hazardous load, and I got a really, really good price for it, because it was advertised a couple of times. I could see they couldn't clear it, and I got a really top price. So that meant that my day's money was brilliant yesterday. Good day's money, first time this week. I did the delivery, and whilst I was there was another vehicle there. It was a curtain side, and he recognised me from YouTube, so he asked if when I'd done the delivery we could have a chat, so I agreed. And his name is Luke, and he has a Mercedes-Benz 5-metre bed curtain side van. What a belting van it is. Yeah, have a look at it. I'll show you a couple of pictures. So it's a good van, and he's got his own reg number on it, so it says Horsey because his company's called Palomino Express. And he's based there, not far from where we are, down the road a bit, and he's doing all right. He has a lot of direct contacts. He puts himself about a bit, networks as much as he can, and he also works on the Courier Exchange. So he recognised me, and maybe the van too, Betty Blue, from the YouTube channel, and we had a lovely chat, probably a bit longer than I should have done, because I was getting on a bit when we had a talk. But it was really nice to meet you, Luke, and I loved your van. I'm not sure if the old Luton's for me, but that one you've got is nice. So you've got curtains on both sides, a really long 5-metre loading bed and a tail lift as well. So it's really versatile. Got quite a good weight carrying capacity for that type of van. So anybody in the southeast who's interested in a good, friendly driver who runs a curtain side van, check out Palomino Express. I would recommend him as a person, if nothing else. And I'm sure he's got excellent reviews on the CX feedback. Now, I didn't get anything else down there. I did look to see if we could get a bit of a backload, but I didn't. I wasn't overly worried. There was enough money in the day to carry the journey home, and that is what I did. Which brings us now to today. Didn't have anything booked in, but I picked up a hazardous load this morning, and this brings me on to this one now. We got a job for an IBC of flammable material going from Bradford to York, and I priced it for my journey to Bradford and then the journey to York at ADR rate, and it was accepted, and I took the job and drove up to pick up the goods. And it was for 4 vans, 2 vans which were going to be ADR and 2 vans with non-ADR, and there was 4 IBCs to pick up. So when I got there, the 2 non-ADR vans were already there. I was having a bit of a chat with them, as you do, and they were asking me about ADR work and how you go about going on to ADR. And then the other van turned up, and I thought, that's not an ADR van, surely. It was. I'm going to check something, hold on. Right, so if I've done this right, you should now have seen a picture of what is a medium wheelbase Sprinter. And that is the vehicle that turned up to pick up the second ADR load. I wanted to make sure on the picture first that I wasn't showing the full reg number. That van is no way is that supposed to be picking up ADR goods. On the roof, that's an air conditioning unit. But you can see it's got windows. Windows at the back, windows at the sides. And there is no bulkhead. So if you open the back doors, you just see the 3 front seats, the driver's seat and the 2 passengers. There's no protected bulkhead whatsoever. You're not supposed to carry hazardous loads. Bearing in mind, this is 1,000 kilos of flammable material in an IBC, a 1-ton IBC. So this guy comes out, and I was miffed me because I'm sick of cowboys like taking our work. So I said to him, mate, are you ADR? Yes, and he was foreign, but that reg number was an English reg number. He was possibly Eastern European. Yes. I said, how come you got that van then? Because that's not, you can't carry the goods in that. Why you say this? I said, well, you're supposed to have a bulkhead. Where does it say I need a bulkhead? I said, mate, if you've done an ADR course, you'll know you need a bulkhead. I didn't do it in the UK. I said, but you're on the UK roads, and the law in the UK says you've got to have a bulkhead. You should be carrying that in that. I said, are you even licensed? Yes, I have I have an ADR license. And you know what? I felt like taking it further with him, but so I marched off. So then the manager of the site comes out to pick up the stuff, to not pick up the stuff, to supervise the loading. So he said to me, you're an ADR driver. So I was showing him my ADR license, which was in there. And he said, do you know anything about the other van? I said, no, I don't, but I'll be honest with you, mate, I don't even think he's ADR. And that, you shouldn't be loading onto that van. It doesn't have an internal bulkhead. And if something happens, it'll come back on you for loading it. So that's up to you. But I'm telling you, I've told you, I'm going to send a message to the shipper to say I warned you. But that van shouldn't be taking that stuff. Now, whether he did that or not, I don't know, because I got there first and I cleared away after. But if that shipper permitted it and everything else, then it's wrong, isn't it? Cowboys coming along, doing this job, undercutting us all and stealing the work. That van should not carry this stuff. There's no way, in my opinion, that fella had an ADR license. And the cheeky get even asked me, what a DGN was, a dangerous goods note. Now, the place where I picked it up from couldn't provide the DGN because basically everything had been delivered there in error. So the shippers had provided the DGN, which I printed out in my van printer. And then that cheeky git asked me to print one out for him. And I told him to F off and I drove off. But yeah, that's what you're up against. So we're looking for another job now, so we get another one just to top the day off with this. Got well paid for it. And then we'll take it from there. So I might be coming across a bit of mad ass there about that, but it does get you angry when you go to all the trouble of insuring your van properly, buying a van that's suitable, that costs you a lot of money, paying for yourself to go on an ADR course and doing everything right, and some absolute knobhead comes along in a noddy van and can do the same work as you at the same price. So it's out of order in my view. It's Friday now, so about the spooky lighting, but it is still dark. Daylight's threatening to come in. It's 7:30 and I've got an 8 o'clock collection in Trafford Park. I'm a little bit early. I thought I'd just finish off this week for you. So yesterday I managed to pick up one more job after I'd met that cowboy or Wyatt Earp there. And basically that took me on the way home, and it was very, very difficult to get a job. I was probably bidding for, I don't know, 2 hours. I'd parked myself between sort of like Wetherby and Leeds after I left York, and there was one job. It was from Wetherby. It was for a long wheelbase van. It was going to Stockport, which was 77 miles away. This is a long wheelbase. And to get back towards Stockport, I bid £80. £80. I was 15 minutes away from the job and it was sold. Now, I'm not saying that someone wasn't even closer, but there wasn't all that many drivers around me, and couldn't get that. I was convinced I'd get that because I thought I'd done that really reasonable price. That's how difficult and competitive it is when it gets quiet. Anyway, I got a long wheelbase job taking me towards home, towards like Todmorden area. I did that and went home. Which leaves today. This hazardous load I'm picking up today, I got off the CX yesterday afternoon. I put the bid in for a shipper that I do quite regular ADR work for. And what this one is basically just under a morning's work. So I'll be picking up from Trafford Park, and I'm delivering to fitness leisure centres who have pools, and I'm delivering the chemicals for the pools, like chlorine and things like that. And I've got a drop in Manchester, drop in Cheadle, and then I'm off to Liverpool for the last drop. And that'll probably take me the morning to do. And then that will be it. It's well paid because it's hazardous. But then I can't do any more because heating engineer's coming to the house. He's having to reroute some pipe work for me because the new kitchen goes in Monday. Well, they start Monday. It's going to take 3 weeks apparently. That should be fun. And they need this pipe work moving to put a freezer where my wife wants a freezer to go. So I've got to get on for that. So that'll be it for the week. The week will finish and it will be below the target. A disappointing week. Not as far below the target as I thought it might be, but it was below. And it's been hard. And I'm not the only one because I've been speaking to other people and people have been struggling. The people who I do regular work for, they've been struggling. It's been bloody tough. And there's no denying it. And when it's tough and quiet, the low bidders come out and it just drives the prices down, and there's nothing you can really do about that. You just got to adapt around it. If it continues quiet for my own customers, then I'll be adapting and changing, and then just looking for other sources of work, which appears to be the case, unfortunately. If they haven't got the work to share out, they haven't got as much work to share out, and that is it. And there have been some times when I've taken a hazardous load booking where they would have given me work, but you know, the stars have got to align, haven't they? So thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope that there's some information you can take from this video. If you've got any comments, please put them in. Any tips, put them in, because of course I'm trying to adapt myself now. And for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be quite flexible about work, because basically there's no kitchen in the house at all for the next couple of weeks. No cooking facilities, nothing. So really, I'm quite prepared to work late, and because you're going to come home to a house that's upside down. Work late, overnights, maybe even tramp out a bit. I'll prepare the van for it, and then if necessary, that's what I'll do. And well, stay in hotels if possible. If there's money in the job, it'll be a hotel stay. If there's not, then it'll be a bit of tramping. But we'll try and adapt round to try and get the numbers together. Tough times, but not just for me, for a lot of people. Surprisingly tough for the time of year. I thought it would be busier than it is. A few people appear to be giving the game up. What will happen is, I think that you'll just strike a balance again eventually, where there's just about enough drivers for jobs, because people can't sustain it. These vans are expensive to run and maintain and keep on the road, especially if you do it properly, insure it properly, maintain it properly. And the numbers have got to add up. To the people out there who post the work, bear in mind how much it costs us to run our vans, and the bids that you're taking. You can see surely that some of those prices are not sustainable for the person doing the job. Have a heart, eh? Anyway, thank you for watching. I'd appreciate a thumbs up if you like the video. That helps the video get out there. And again, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.